Another 1v1. This time it's me, and not someone else, but me playing Tomb Kings. And I'm squaring off against the Empire. Let's go over these armies. So, my army is in typical fashion for me when it comes to Tomb Kings. I like to go a little bit wider. So we've got 3 units of Nehekaran warriors. Oh, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Then 2 units of halberdiers that are Tomb Guard. Of the Tomb Guard flavoring. We also have a Doom Pussy, as I like to call him, the Khemrian War Sphinx. Then 2 units of Skeleton Spearmen in the back line. 2 units of Ushabti Great Bows, one of them being the Regiments of Renown, Chosen of the Gods. They're kind of in the front here. I want them to harry the line before coming back. The nice thing about these guys is, as we've discussed before, a whopping 54 speed. Take a look at these Altdorf Gryphites, for example. 75 speed, 54 speed. Typical normal foot soldier from the Empire, 30. So they are real fast. We also have 2 units of Carrions to shut down any kind of backline action, and then 1 unit of Necropolis Knights with halberds to help us fight against any possible demogryphs. Uh-oh, there's demogryphs, so that's good. Now remember, we know that these guys don't trade 100% into demogryphs. They do lose out, but with the other advantages of having Ark in the Black, main man right there, it can help us kind of tip that fight in their favor. Our opponent here, on the other hand, has got the Grey Wizard here, so we're dealing with that, as well as Boris Toadbringer himself, Royal Altdorf Gryphites, which are always just one of my favorite looking models. Look at those guys. Look at those guys. So many wings on wings on wings on birds without wings. Then we've got a lot of anti-large here, which is, in my opinion, a very strong choice. 2 halberdiers, then 2 units of spearmen, and 1 unit of Sigmar's Sons. Then an interesting choice here went with 3 unit of crossbowmen and a great cannon. If this was Hammer of the Gods, it would have been a lot stronger, I'd say. But also he has the Tattersouls here in the forest. So let's see how this fight kind of plays out here. I've already started to push forward to try and get some initial shots going. As you can see, already starting to shoot into that line. I mean, it's just, geez, already doing damage to the Sigmar's Sons. Already knocking the crossbowmen apart. I'll be honest, my choice of target should have been the crossbowmen. I think in the heat of moving them forward, didn't even actually give them a target to shoot at, but they're still shooting at some crossbowmen, so it's not that bad. We see what's going on over here. Some flanking units, the Royal Altdorf Gryphites coming over to the side. We're going to take our Skeleton Spearmen, our Necropolis Knights, kind of set up a little vanguard here to welcome them into our neighborhood. Got the Carrions already starting to wrap around to that backside, trying to get up in that ass. The Tattersouls are getting shot at by the Khemrian War Sphinx. A little known fact that Khemrian War Sphinx does actually have 4 or 5 people on top of it. Uh-oh. What's the Grey Wizard doing? Some fishy fish shit. Little charge over there on the Tattersouls into these Skeleton Warriors. Ooh. Just missed that pendulum. That could have been devastating for those Skeleton Warriors. The Doom Pussy jumping in there nice and deep like. Look at that. Look at that prance. Elegant. Right into their cat tower. And he has left his cannon completely undefended. Makes it an easy target for our Carrions here. But those crossbowmen are firing deep into our Chosen of the Gods, which is never too fun. Boom! Okay. Let's slow-mo charge this, yeah? Let's get those boners into those Empire halberdiers here. To think, even at this age, the amount of just athletic skill in these Nehekaran swordsmen here, or I'm sorry, just the skeleton swordsmen here. No arthritic knees, leaping in, not a single knee brace amongst any of these here guys. And you can imagine their ACLs are probably in terrible condition. Let's bring that up to normal speed here. Alright. We've got our Boris Toadbringer. He is in a little bit of trouble as our backline starts to fend off against these Royal Altdorf Gryphites. We've got our Skeleton Spearmen coming in to support them. As you can see already, 14 to the whopping 24 of the Altdorf Grid fights, they are getting dumpstered pretty handedly. So, you know, all things said and done, these are the Regiments of Renown version, so they're going to be a little bit stockier. But we do have our Purple Son of Xerius that went off in the back line, ripping up some crossbowmen. Our Carrion has completely shut down the Great Cannon, which is great news. The Tattersouls as well are being mucked up by the Tomb Guard, and the Camion War Sphinx that has eaten through them pretty handedly. Ark the Black is in the back here. We do have our Skeleton Warriors and our Ushabti Great Bows firing onto this Taurus Todbringer, and we pulled our Camion War Sphinx off of the Tattersouls. You know, it's time to get that that terror through the front line here. It's not good. It's going to be pretty advantageous to kind of bulldoze to their back line. Little Doom and Darkness kicking off across the line. Minus 16 leadership is pretty advantageous when you're fighting against Empire, because they don't have remarkable leadership to begin with, and the fear and terror caused by a lot of these units are really going to come to good aid here. But get those undead birds into those crossbowmen. The Camion War Sphinx, just without regard, look at that, just so poncy, prancing through everything. As you can see, Realm of Souls is starting to really kick off here. We've shut down the Royal Altdorf Grid fights with some Necropolis Knights to spare. So we're in good condition here. The backline is starting to come together. The Tattersouls are chasing after the Tomb Guard. The Tomb Guard want to get into the combat with the Spearmen with shields. And Boros Trodbringer is still in the background here, but getting Ark the Black into combat is pretty important because he does have Arkan's Tomb Blade. That's going to allow him to pop off a good AoE heal here. But the Grey Wizard is being focused by both the Carrions and the Ushabti, so that should be very advantageous as far as things go for me, not for my opponent. Yes, look at that Doom Pussy, smash that ass. That's a whole series of, that's a sentence I never thought I'd say in my life. But just look at that, look how the mass of those little tiny guys just can't hold up against that. Malkoth's Mystifying Miasma has just kicked off on the Tomb Guard there. But the Carrions are eating up that Grey Wizard. Perfect. You have Boros Todbringer did not land on Arkan like I had wanted him to, but he did come over here, try and knock around these Skeleton Warriors. My Tomb Guard and Skeleton Warriors are already in bad shape, kind of surrounded on all sides, really. But we did bring in some Ushabti to kind of help reinforce the gap. Look at that. Yes, just jump into the foe. Necropolis Knight's coming in, gonna bring that anti-large to bear. Ark the Black casting off his physical resistance buff here, but look at those Necropolis Knights, those halberds just getting up in Boros Todbringer's face. Who cares would you have a plume on your head, Todbringer? You're a Necropolis Knight town. The crossbowmen, though, are back online, and they're starting to reap kind of a tally on, especially on Necropolis Knights. As you can see, we charged in at 14. They're coming down pretty quickly here.
As long as we draw back, they will die.
Right, switching the Tomb Guard, the Ark the Black, and the Doom Pussy all into Boros Todbringer. We're going to bring our Necropolis Knights back around again to charge into him. Ooh. Camion War Sphinx shooting its little, like, ice fire breath. There it is. Carrion shutting down some of those crossbowmen. The Carrion have gotten a lot of value here. I've been able to keep them in the back line, chasing off any units that have been rallying, getting our Ushabti back in onto Boros as well. The Tattersouls have been hanging on this match the entire time. I probably should have kept the Camion War Sphinx on them longer to help shut them down quicker, but, you know, retrospect is hindsight is 20, 50, 50, whatever the saying is. Something about half a dozen eggs, one if I land, two if I see. We have a majority of the army is routing off the table here. Sigmar's Sons and Tattersouls, the only units really in the fight still. They can't do much of anything at this point. We're just going to see them kind of tarry about as things kind of jump around and smash them to the ground. But this was overall a great fight. The Empire opponent brought a lot of really good units to the table. I brought a pretty large army that I like to bring when I bring Tomb Kings. I don't like to go for elite construct armies. I typically only take 1 or 2 constructs, if any. That isn't necessarily a good or bad tactic. It's just the way I like to play Tomb Kings. You know, the point of having Tomb Kings is that you get to have all these huge, voluminous amounts of dead soldiers. But if we take a look at the return here, 158 kills in the Tattersouls, and a lot of that was from Tomb Guard. So the Tattersouls themselves got a lot of pretty good, a lot of solid return here. And as you can see, 48 and 75 on my Tomb Guard. I think these were the ones that were fighting the Tattersouls, so they didn't get a ton of damage out. But they were still able to at least keep them tied up, because if those Tattersouls had been in my front line, they would have murked through these Skeleton Warriors. They would have been a lot stronger than them and killed them a lot quicker. So it's good that they got kind of mucked up so badly. Then we got 91 kills on our Cambrian War Sphinx as it just kind of chunced through the whole entire line as soon as it got up there. So that's one thing to note with them, is you can keep them constantly jumping through. Their attack animation is so wild, just like the Tomb Scorpion. The Tomb Scorpion like rubs its belly on everything in like a barrel roll fashion. So keep that in mind when you're using either one of these constructs, that you can basically use it like a chariot, leaping down the line and destroying units at the same time. Boris Taubringer got a whopping 73 kills here. But one thing to note is that this Great Cannon only got 11 kills. Had it been, like I was saying, the Hammer of Witches, it would have been dealing a lot of damage to my front line. Even if he had not chosen to use Shabti to shoot it at it with, it would have destroyed a lot of things. That magic damage does a considerable amount more to Tomb Kings, especially if it's fire damage. Whoo! It does even more damage. So, overall, a great fight. I think what my opponent could have done here was taken more halberdiers and really put my army in a bad spot. But overall, I think this was a really, really fun fight. I know a lot of you guys were asking, hey, show Tomb Kings plus Empire. This was on our stream on Sunday, and it was at the very end of the campaign, so I don't think many people saw it. So I wanted to isolate it, put it separate, so we all could enjoy it together. But thanks for watching here today, guys. We'll be having a stream here on Thursday as I celebrate my transition from full-time work to full-time YouTube or something of the sort. But stop on by. We'll be doing some quick battles, maybe do some campaign at the end if I'm convinced to do it. But thanks for watching here, guys. Have a good one, and take care.